Hello, and welcome to Coping with Donald. Well, it only took me an hour to figure out how to open the camera. This seems to be happening every time. All I want is just a button that says open camera, and instead I get these instructions of like 14 things I have to do to open the camera. But anyway, I'm here now. I was like, come on, I got my mime shirt on, my Marcel Marceau shirt. Let me do this. I'm going to talk about the stock market today and what I personally have done. But before that, I just want to put in a shameless plug for a good friend of mine who lives actually across the way. And if you can see this amazing stone, this is what they get rubies from. It's a wonderful decoration. It adds a lot of color to your home, and I'm completely fibbing right now. This is actually a piece of soap, and it's got a rich blood red, I think it's called Blood Dragon, red dragon blood soap. My friend Renee, who runs Designs by Friday in Stewart, and I'm going to give you the phone number, and I'll tell you why in a minute. 512. Yeah. 619. Okay? So it starts 512 619 0965. She's located north of the Roosevelt Bridge. If you're going from Stewart, you go over the bridge, and it's on the left-hand side, Florida, at, oh man, my eyes, 16, I believe it's 1640 Southeast Federal Highway. And as you can tell, I'm not getting paid for this because she's my friend. I mean, I don't do things like that anyway. She has amazing products in there. She gets involved. It's a lot of fun in there. She's a lot of fun. And she gets involved with what she calls fairy hair tinsel. I don't have to worry about that. Braids, I don't have to worry about that. And then just cute magnets and things like that. It's just worth a trip just for fun. And the soaps are amazing. She has all sorts of smells, all sorts of different colored soaps, and I believe a lot in the shapes of things like cupcakes and things like that. And the reason I gave the phone number is because if somebody is seeing this and they live in a different state or something, if you could call her, maybe you guys could arrange for some sort of a catalog, or I wish she had an online site. I think she'd do great with an online site, and you could get soaps mailed to you. Things like that is a great gift. That is like pampering yourself. I showered with a piece of it last night, and the aromas are very, they just wake you up, okay? They wake you up, they make you feel like you're treating yourself wonderfully. And like I said, she goes into all sorts of different things. She's a bubbly, wonderful personality. And if you live in Stewart, Florida, or the surrounding area, it's called Designs by Friday. That's the name of the store. And I would encourage you to stop in. Now, I'm just going to read you a bunch of stocks because obviously stock market, we all know what happened this week, losing 10% in 2 days. Usually, supposedly, it's only happened like 3 times in history where the market, lost more than 5% 2 days in a row. And each of the other times it went up on the following day. But of course, this is not a typical thing. So don't count on that. But what I did was, I have an account, and it just represents a small amount of my overall savings. Thank God. So that account went down 15% this week. So I want to try to build it back up. And so what I'm thinking of doing is sticking with some pretty big names and buying small amounts and then just giving it a year. And maybe it'll make up that 15% that I'm down, which is possible because the market itself is down 18%. That's the SPY. The Nasdaq's down 22%. So if these stocks were to run more than the Nasdaq, and they're all familiar names, you'll recognize them, and I'm going to tell you why I've got them. I want to start out with the dark horse. That's Mattel. Mattel is at this is the real dark horse, okay? But it's at a 5-year low. It wasn't this low since COVID. Since Trump became president, early February, it's lost almost 25% of its value. And it has a price earnings ratio, a PE of 10. That's very low, and that's good. The lower, the better, okay? Christmas will come around again. People will find a way to buy toys, no matter what's happening. Apple. I have a smaller position on this because it's still relatively expensive, but it is down 25% since February, early February, which, eventually people are going to be able to buy iPhones again. Now, keep in mind, a lot of this is because of China, especially with Apple, and they get a lot of their stuff imported. And if you hear in the next week, let's say the market has 2 more days like it just had, if you hear Trump, Trump's going to panic at that point. And if you hear him say something about we're going to have talks with China, or we have an agreement on the phone with China, everything is going to go up, especially the China names. Another China name, this one I have a small, and that's one of the more relatively expensive ones though right now, even though it's down 25%. One of the smaller ones I have is Estee Lauder, which also imports everything from China. And that has a PE right now of 18. That's been clobbered as well. Exchange traded funds, decent sized positions, not big, remember. Small caps are down 16%. That's the IWM. That's the Russell, I think, 2000. And those are small cap stocks. The financials, XLF, down 16%. You don't know what's going to happen with that because the banks are going to report later this week on Friday. XBI, those are biotech stocks. They're down 21%. With Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who knows if people are going to be willing to invest in biotechs or if the companies themselves are willing to do research and development, assuming that they think he's going to knock them down. Unfortunately, I have too many names here that are a little bit too technologically based. The biggest position I have is Amazon. That's down 30%. It also has a relative PE of 30. But if legacy shopping malls are going out of business, we got to get our stuff from somewhere, and Amazon seems like a pretty good bet to do well after all of this is ironed out. Where are my other things? Applied Materials, AMAT, is down a third. It's got a PE of 16. It provides a lot of the equipment for semiconductors to be manufactured on. I think that one is really begging to be bought. Adobe is a software company. They have a PE of 23. They are down 25%. I don't think that they have to worry about tariffs at all, since you download their programs into your computer, I believe. Showing my ignorance here again. Avgo is AVGO. It's actually Broadcom. They're big in the AI space. Their PE is still 22, which is, not that bad considering the growth that they have and what they represent. They're down 44%. I gotta believe they make some sort of recovery in the next year to 2 years at most. And you'll be saying, why didn't I get it when it was down 44% when Trump announced tariffs? And as I said, we could see a big turnaround if Trump takes the tariffs away. Micron Technology, I'm not as excited about because they're just a semiconductor company, but their forward PE is 10. Now, of course, a lot of companies are going to get their estimates trimmed because of all this mess. But for right now, their forward PE stands at 10, which is extremely low, and they're down 42%. And then finally, I don't think there is a finally. I think I got them all. If you want to maybe get into... Now, this would be if oil prices turn around. If oil prices turn around, take a good look at a company called OII. They're oil related. I think they're a driller. They're very favored by Wall Street. And that's what I've got for you. I don't think I got into anything else. I think that was a total wrap. But you notice, I know I was into technology a little much. Just even semiconductors with AMAT, with MU, Applied Materials, Micron Technology, and Broadcom. And I didn't even put NVIDIA in there. All right. You've got software with Adobe, retail with Amazon, computers with Apple, toys with Mattel, makeup with Estee Lauder, and then I've got small caps, financials, and biotech. And Google. I didn't say Google. Google is got a PE of 18, so it's actually a very good buy, and that one is down 30%. Now, if you look at the charts of all these stocks, what do you expect after the last 2 days? They look terrible. They look like they're going to roll over and die, but I don't think any of these companies on this list are not going to be in existence 2 or 3 years from now. And that gives the market a lot of time to recover. As I said, I only put the rest of my account, I'm down 18%, and I put it in these things. I figure the most these could go down would be, I'm down 15%, I'm sorry. But even if these things get cut in half, it's not like I need that money right now. And I think they will eventually make up that gap of that 15% that I lost and more. Not that I'm going to get rich on these companies at this point, but I think it's a good place to start. Let me know what you think below, and visit my friend Renee if you live around Stuart, Florida. Going to do another one right after this with my mime shirt, and it's going to be about the stock market and what we've lost, which in a different light. It should be pretty fascinating. So this has been Coping with Donald, which, man, it's been hard for me to just get the energy to do it because he's hard to cope with. And I'm Phil. And like and subscribe if you want. Have a great night.